All right, looks like set review. Here we go. So what I want to do here is search for common and uncommon. We'll do the rares and mythics later, but these are the most important part of limited is commons and uncommon. So what we're looking at here is Dominaria United. It looks, from what I'm hearing on Twitter, it looks like an exciting set. It looks like it has some really crazy 5-color things from my 5-color EDH jank deck, which I'm very excited about. The plot, as far as I know, is Phyrexia has come again to Dominaria, the original plane of magic. And bad things are happening, as they usually do when Phyrexians are involved. Now, Dominaria is like, oh god damn this again, basically, is my is my understanding. I never looked into the lore as much as I should have. There is some cool stuff, and this harkens back to a lot. The set harkens back to a lot of the lore, and it has this new mechanic Enlist, which is like sort of banding. So it's pretty interesting. But without the banding craziness and rule weirdness. As far as sort of the themes of artwork, let's just sort of give a scroll down and get a general sense. Is it a Homerid? Yay! Okay, sorry. All right, so let's go back to the top. Let's start from the top. Okay. So, Argivan Cavalier. Anything that enters as 3 power in 2 separate bodies, statistically in limited, has been very playable. So think the Fabricate from Kaladesh, the 2/2 that fabricates 1, can either enter as a 3/3 or a 2/2 plus a 1/1 body, and almost always you were putting the 1/1 body there. And think the like 2/1 that puts a 1/1 into play from, I think it was Khans or Fate Reforged, one or the other. But yeah, there's been a bunch like that, but statistically that's always good at common. So Argivan Cavalier is also good beyond that, because it also has Enlist. So it gets the best of both worlds here. Even if you make that 1/1, you can then attack with this as a 3/3 by tapping that 1/1 the next turn and adding its power, or sorry, makes it a 3/2, I believe. Add its power to the creatures until end of turn. So you at least get that bump in power as well. Not the toughness, but the power. So it's those good cards with another upside, which is really cool. But you can also add like a 4, like the next card, the Argivan Phalanx, or is it Argivian or Argivian? I've never actually looked. The Phalanx could add 4 power to it if you didn't want to attack with it, right? It says non-attacking though, so vigilance doesn't actually matter. You can't attack with a vigilance dude and then tap it for Enlist. It says non-attacking, not untapped. So all right, that's good to know. So this card is good. It's just a good card. It's an Orc Knight. We'll see whether there are any synergies as far as creature types coming up. Argivian, sorry, okay. I'm just gonna call it Argivian, sorry. Argivian Phalanx, 6 mana, 4/4 vigilance, costs 1 less to cast for each creature you control. You don't even have to convoke it. It's just 1 less to cast for each creature you control. That could end up being very strong, especially if you go this into that. So that's already 2 creatures on 3 that allow you to cast this on 4 with only 3 of your on 4 with 3 with your creatures on the board already. So you can move this into this, which is not bad. So I don't mind this. And if you had a 1-drop, that'd be even better. But yeah. So Phalanx looks fine to me. I don't know how many I would run. It depends on what a 4/4 body is going to do in this set. If that's a very powerful body, then this will be very, very good. But statistically, you have to look at what green does, and what the other color, green in particular, but what the other colors do for that much mana, / even when it's discounted. So, Artillery Blast deals X damage to target tapped creature, where X is 1 plus the number of basic land types. Domain is always interesting and limited. It'll depend how good the fixing is. I know there are duels that come into play tapped that are fetchable technically, but I don't know how much fetch there is in this. But there are duels that come into play tapped, which are interesting. So it'll be really interesting to see how many domain decks actually make this. But if you get the domain easily, this is okay. I'm not a huge fan of this card. It's a little situational. First, the creature has to be tapped, and we have to see how much vigilance there is in the format. Second, we have to see how easy it is to make domain happen. I would assume it's okay if you're the only one in trying for domain, but if there's multiple people trying for domain in the same pod, that could be really rough for this type of card. But you could see, Benelish Faithbonder, Vigilance Enlist. I mean, it's a 1/3 Vigilance that has the Enlist to pump its power, so it's not awful, but it's not a high pick card at all. Yeah, okay, so I'm impressed with this. These are filler, in my opinion. This one's okay and could be better than I'm expecting. Benelish Sleeper. Okay, kicker, black. So this is meant to be in a dual color deck if possible. It was kicked, each player sacrifices a creature. I like that option. Already at a 3/1 base for 2 stats is not horrible. They're just making that have upside these days. So the 3/1 from the Baldur's Gate gives the next creature +1/+0 perpetually. This one, obviously, you can play the kicker and for 3, make sure that each player sacrifices a creature, which it's nice to have that versatility where you don't have to, but you can if you're running black. So I do like this card quite a bit. It will obviously lose value if they're playing a token deck. See the card right next to it? That's not so great for it to be running against. Captain's Call, I think, actually is quite decent, more than it looks. If, like I see this card, right? It's the unicorn, but it's a 3 for 3/2 instead of the unicorn that we have in the Baldur's Gate, which is still a strong card, but it does cost 1. But its body is 1/2, so you're trading off there. So I actually think the Charismatic Vanguard will be good. And if the whole thing is to go wide, like this seems to want to put extra bodies in play, then the Captain's Call is actually going to be decent as well. I wish it were an instant, like the uncommon, but it's a common. So the uncommon in Baldur's Gate that we have that creates 3 soldier tokens or whatever it is. I think we have it in a deck. Yeah, you're confronted by robbers, that one. So uncommon is so strong. But yeah, so I think this is still going to be good, especially if there's any soldier synergies. Like, we'll see how that goes as we go along. But Charismatic Vanguard and Captain's Call work really, really well together. I'm very happy with those. It does seem like going wide is a big thing here, especially with these Vanguards. Like I said, they're not as good as the Unicorn because they do cost more. You get a slightly bigger body, but I don't think that's worth the extra cost, especially if the Unicorn can come down and pump the same turn. This is way less likely to do that at 8 mana. And it doesn't give vigilance. So it's still good, and it's going to probably perform pretty well in, for one or two in a deck like, that contains Captain's Calls and our Cavaliers. But all right. We'll see how it goes. It's no unicorn. Anyway. Citizen's Arrest. Exile target creature or planeswalker. Yeah, okay. You're just going to run... These are just the staple, like... O-ring type effects. They're not O-rings because they can't hit anything, but they can hit creature or planeswalker, which is quite nice. So I'm pretty happy with Citizen's Arrest here. It is double white, which is unusual for that effect these days, having to be double white, but that's fine. It does take planeswalkers out, which is nice. In limited, that's less nice. You just don't usually run into that many planeswalkers, but it's still an extra bit of versatility it's a fine removal spell. Unicorn could only be used on your turn, Big Kev. Yes. So this has another upside there. So it doesn't give vigilance, which is a big deal. It costs more, but it does give you a slightly bigger body, and you can use it on your turn, which is also really nice. So you can use it defensively rather than purely aggressively. The art is bonkers, yeah. Citizen's Arrest, like pointing at the Phyrexian coming out of this person's face. Blech. And it looks like little prongy thingies coming out of the wrist, too. So Cleaving Skyrider. Now, so we had the black-white here. Now we have the... So they are actually pushing the multicolor thing here. Okay, so... X is the number of attacking creatures. Flash. That does seem good. 6 mana for a 2/2 flash flyer. Any target where X is the number... So it's only on attack that you're going to want to use this. Not... Wait, hold on. Where X is the number of attacking creatures. Oh, so no, you can do it on blocks too. Yeah, I like it. It's a Windrake, a flash Windrake at worst, which is already fine for 3 mana. It's a human warrior, which I assume there may be some synergies for that. 6 mana is a lot, but I think that this card will see play. It's just, I don't know how high a pick it is, but it's still a Windrake, which is fine. With flash at worst, so I think that's fine. So I think these are mid-range of picks. But we'll see how the rest of it weighs up to it. Clockwork Drawbridge is an 0/3 tap target creature for 3 defender. There are some defender synergies in this that I was very interested in that you can mill people out with or do all sorts of stuff with. So this actually may be quite good, even though it's kind of a lot to tap something down for that. There are synergies with defenders. So we'll see when we get to blue. I think is a lot of the defender stuff that really matters. We'll see what we get when we get there. But this may be more playable than it looks like. Always tap target creature is useful and limited, but usually like it's at the 2 slot instead of 2 and a colored at mana. So yeah. So I think the defender synergies are gonna make this card okay. Coalition Sky Knight, 4 mana for a 2/2 flying enlist. That's a lot for a 2/2 flyer. Enlist is lovely on a flyer though. I think I'd have to wait for a while to see how good this is gonna be, how much like 2 damage spell stuff there is. I need to see red, I think, and black. Is there like a weakness effect? Is there a shock? That's what I need to see in order to tell whether this is going to be an extremely high pick or just an okay mid pick. Destroy Evil. We have 69 viewers. Hold on, I have to use my new emote. There we are. Sorry, it was absolutely imperative. Oh wait, now we have 74. Shit. All right, so here's Destroy Evil. Destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater, or destroy target enchantment. I like that it has a little bit more versatility than Reprisal, which I think did power 4 or greater. Sometimes the toughness isn't really what you care about, so we're gonna have to see what the stats are in this, because I'm seeing a lot of enlist things that you really can't kill with toughness 4 or greater. They're not going to pump the toughness, they're just going to pump the power. So I'm not impressed with Destroy Evil here unless there's going to be a lot of a lot of toughness later. Like, we'll see, but so far I really would not like a lot of enchantments rather. So far I don't like this card. Because it really does poorly against Enlist. But we'll see what... Oh, there's Sagas. So maybe this is just going to be good enough against Sagas. But Sagas usually get... you really just don't want them coming down as much. Like, if there's... We'll see about the rare and mythic Sagas, whether we would sideboard... Whether this is a sideboard card or a main deckable card. And I'll start to pay attention to the amount of 4 toughness things. Griffin Protector. Okay, so whenever another creature enters your control, yeah, this card can get out of hand real fast. It's not a high pick, but it's still a good card. Okay, I don't know what that card is, but this one basically... Read ahead. Wait, what? Okay, I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, Griffin Protector is a decent card, especially if you're doing the multiple creatures in here. Multiple creatures, it pumps it really, really nicely and gets there. So this is a completely playable card. It's not chaff in most white decks. I think it's going to be okay. It's not a nice return on investment initially, right? But it's a 2/3. And hey, Kojo! and it can get pumped, and there's a lot of things here that put in multiple creatures per turn. So heroic charge, +2/+1 until end of turn. Oh, it's just strictly better. Okay, if the spell's kick the creature, also gain trample. Holy shit. Okay, so in a red yeah, so this is exactly what Boros wants, which is an even better inspired charge. So it does inspired charge, but it also has kicker, and then you can get the trample. Is quite nice. That is really going to end a lot of games. Absolutely. And it does prevent you from flooding out in a Boros deck, which is really nice. You have ways to use that mana now with the kicker too. Okay. Yeah, I like having at least one of those in your Boros deck. I probably would have it in a mono white deck too, obviously, because Inspired Charge is still a very playable card in mono white. Join Forces is 3, untap up to 2 target creatures. They each get +2/+2 until end of turn. That's gonna be a blowout, 3 mana. That was green in Amonkhet, I think. And it was a good spell. So I like this, especially in white. That's kind of cool because you are often attacking without vigilance. Okay, this is a fine card. Fine combat trick. Okay, Juniper Order Root Weaver. Yeah, a 2-mana, a bear with upside is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. We may have to check whether there's a counter, the +1/+1 counter synergy here. And we'll see how much there is. If so, this is going to be better than it looks. Night of Dawn's Light. Because we've had 2-mana things that put +1/+1 counters on things for, that are 1/1s, for 2, which I think is better than a 2 for 2, and then 3 mana 2 for 2. So, anyway. Also, I'd like to be able to put it on anything. I always like to, like, for example, if you really need to kill something with 4 toughness, it'd be really nice to be able to put this counter on your opponent's creature so you can kill them. So I actually don't like on-target creature you control there. Just target creature. Why did you need you control? Anyway, that's my thing. Okay. Night of Dawn's Light. I like the versatility of if you have a card like this in your set, being able to target your opponent's creatures with that, but that's not on there. Night of Dawn's Light, 2 mana, 2/2 for a strike. That's already good. Yeah, exactly, Tenoshi. First strike, if you gain much life, you get that much life +1 instead. Gets +1. So yeah, I mean, this is just a good card. It's a scalable card. It's good early and late game. I always love those. This is going to be a high pick. This is just an extra line of text that if you would gain life, you gain that much life +1 instead. Love Song of Night and Day. Now, this is a harken back. So there was actually a person who wrote a poem called Love Song of Night and Day, and it was a lot of the flavor text for things back when. And it is so cool. So you should definitely take a look at that. But now let me read the stupid read ahead mechanic. Why did they have to make that more complicated? I don't think it needed that. Okay, anyway. Choose a chapter and start with that many lore counters. Okay. Add 1 after your draw step. So if you choose 3, then this is just going to go away and you're not going to get 1 and 2. If you choose 2, then the next turn it will move on to 3. You won't get 1. I see. So you can just go on to later things. So you don't have to give to opponent 2 card trades, which is nice. I like the versatility of that idea. Seems good. And it's a fine saga. Like it's not fantastic, but it's fine. 3 mana for a 1/1 and then 2 counters is not the worst. I'm not that impressed with this one so far. Other than, of course, the artwork and the harkening back to the actual poem. Mesa Cavalier. God, that's a step down from Inspiring Overseer. Yeah, but can I gain 1 life and draw a card instead? Please? The extra 1 life doesn't make up for the card. Inspiring Overseer was a mistake, yeah, but they can't take it back, and now they're giving me this crap, and I'm just gonna feel bad. So, yes, anyway, this is still a good card. Like, it's fine. It's still, like, a 2/1 flyer for 3 that gains you 2 life. So, if there's any flicker in this set, it's gonna be made better. But if there's life gain synergies where, like, you gain 1 life and you do this, right? So there was a little bit here. You gain that much life plus one instead, so it'd be 3 life. It's not, crazy, but there you go. So it's a fine card. It's not great. Could at least give me 2/2? Like, wait. Okay. So Phyrexian Missionary is great. I'm already looking at it as like, it's fantastic. So 2 mana for a 2/3 lifelink is already stupid, right? In limited. That's just nice, right? It's not stupid. It's just really nice. And then if it was kicked Gravedigger, great. 2/3 lifelink Gravedigger, yeah, absolutely. So this looks fantastic as long as you're in both the colors. It's also fine if you're only in the one. It's still a really decent card, but the kicker makes it over the top. Prayer of Binding. Okay, so this is another O-Ring effect, but for 4 at flash. 1 target non-land permanent until blah, you gain 2 life. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's good removal. Absolutely. Yeah, it'll be a high pick, just like the other white piece of removal, Citizen's Arrest here. So Resolute Reinforcement seems good. It's 2 bodies at flash speed, which means, for example, that you can pump this to a 4/5 at flash speed, which is so nice. And it means it's heroic reinforcement in a body, in a human body, right, in a creature spell, which I really like here because, again, you've got so many things going wide and plus. So, again, I like that with a Charismatic Vanguard, too. So, seems good. Raise the Alarm. Sorry, yeah, Raise the Alarm. That's what I meant. Yeah, the body on Raise the Alarm, yeah. Runic Shot. Yikes. Really? Yikes. 1 mana, destroy target tapped creature? Yeah, okay. Oh, sorcery speed. Oh. No, that's still good. That's still crazy good. So you do have to let the thing hit you once, sadly, or block it or chump it or whatever, but it's still good. So Kicker Blue, you can scry to. It's still really good, I think, in this. I mean, there's been a bunch of Vigilance that I've seen so far, but not enough to make me worried about it. Yeah, I would highly pick this. I think, especially in white, where you have lots of chump blockers that you can use and buy time until you can get the mass pump and attack, I think you'll want the Runic Shot a lot and hope they don't have trample. Hey, G-Guards! Alright, Samite Herbalist. That art is epic. Whenever it becomes tapped, you gain 1 life and scry 1. Okay. I think that's going to end up being more useful than it looks like at first glance. Is there anything to crew or tap tap with? I mean, not like this thing or that. Oh, it enlists well. Yes, thank you. Enlist, absolutely. Okay, so Herbalist might actually be a small, like, it doesn't look like much, but I think it might actually be very good. That Scry 1 is not inconsequential, and like we said, if we found any more life gain synergies, I'm pretty happy with this card. No vehicles in the set, only the enlist. Okay. Okay, look. Hello. Okay, so Samite Herbalist, I think, is going to actually be a higher pick than it looks like. I actually quite like this card in this set because of the enlist, and because it's just, like, added value on, maybe you get it makes certain early hands keepable that wouldn't be otherwise if you think you might get an attack with it. I kind of like it. That takes it from, like, what would have been unplayable to actually probably a mid pick. All right, so Shalai's Acolyte. So kicker, so 5 mana, 3/4 flyer. That's an okay rate. Not for white though. 7 mana, 5/6 flyer at uncommon is not bad. This is not that impressive to me yet. We got to see what the rest of the set looks like. But it does blank a number of the flyers that we've seen so far. I'm not hugely impressed with the one yet. So, stall for time. Yeah, it's weird at uncommon. I think it should be a little stronger. But maybe I'm just like spoiled because I'm just sitting here thinking of like the Sphinx, right? Ominous Sphinx or whatever that scryed 2 and was the same price. Like I'd rather that. And blue in Dominaria. Uh, so it's just weird. I don't know. Let me see what we get overall. Stall for time. 2 and a white. Kicker 2. Tap up to 2 target creatures if the spell's kick. Put a stun counter in each of them. Oh, okay. So it's chilled. It's chilled, but it's stunned instead. That's what they decided to do. The thing, and draw a card. Okay, but it's 5 mana to do that. Like Crippling Chill was just better. It was Crippling Chill, right? That tapped. Which one was it that tapped 2 creatures and they didn't untap during their opponent's untap taps for 3? I know the draw a card is important, but I mean, I like it. It's just I wish it were the other thing. Me. It's still good. It's still good. And it can actually probably win quite a few games. You're gonna have to pay attention to this card especially if they're in blue white. But I'll probably run one of these in white, mono white as well. Take up the shield. For 2 mana, +1/+1 counter and gains lifelink and indestructible. And that seems fine. Not hexproof though. So we'll see how many -1/-1 counters and exile effects to see exactly how good this is going to be. But I like it overall on the first glance. Wingmantle Chaplain. 3 and a white, 0/3 defender. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying for each creature with defender you control. Yeah, my entire goal will be to get like 18 of these and 18 of these. That'll be fun. And draw effects. That's what I want. Yeah, let's build a defender deck. I know there are defender synergies. Look, like say it's a Coral Colony and this. That seems good. This seems good. All right, so white has defender synergies and it has a bunch of go wide stuff. All right, I got it. Now we're getting more defender synergies with the Coral Colony. I like Coral Colony. And the Academy Wall. Whoa! Academy Wall seems really good. Cosplay as the woman who feeds the pigeons in the park? Yes, exactly. Academy Wall feels great. Damn, that's good in a spells deck. Wow. Alright, so you can loot. Triggers only once per turn, fine. But it stops most early aggression at 3 for an 0/5. That's nice. Battlewing Mystic. 2 mana, 2/1 flyer is always good. Just take that card. When it enters, if you discard your hand, then draw 2 cards. Yeah, I mean, if you get that late game, it's really good too. You can pay the kicker. Yeah, I like this card. This is a high pick. Combat Research. Wait, it's Curiosity plus. Okay. So it's Curiosity, and then also if it's legendary, you get +1/+1 and has Ward 1. It's still Curiosity, which is interesting. So you're gonna want to run this if you have a lot of evasion or trample. Coral Colony, yeah, just a good card. Djinn of the Fountain. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, choose one. Huh. Yeah, seems decent. I can see why it's uncommon, just because 6 mana for a 4/4 flyer is not hugely intensely great. But I like the versatility of the rest of this. Urtai's Scorn. So it's 1 and a blue if they're on their like second spell. Huh. Okay. That actually would make me run that card. Oh, I hate when Essence scatters in a set. I hate it. This is not a nice card for limited. It's annoying. But okay. This one I would run. The fact that it has its cancel with upside is actually okay, I think. You love when Essence scatters in the set. I hate it. So like, I mean, you're supposed to be playing with creatures, not just like countering all of them. Don't let them touch anything. So I like this one. This one I hate, but I think it's a good card to run in limited. Again, counter magic is always, always, always going to be better when you're ahead and bad when you're behind, usually. So it doesn't catch you up. So you have to be careful about it. So that's my caution on counter magic in limited. So founding the third path, this saga. Cast an instant boat from your hand. Okay. Target player mills forward cards. Exile target instant. Whoa! Number 3 is crazy. For 2 mana? What? This card is going to be abused. Oh, I don't like that card. Oh, that's a really good card. How much removal? There's so much removal in this set. Like, this isn't good with the white removal. The white removal is all enchantments. But I suspect this is going to combine very, very well with red and black. Damn, this card is stupid. And I'm sure Construct is going to do something horrifying with it. Blech. Okay, moving along. I'm not... who did that? Anyway, that's a high pick. Wait, you have to pay the mana cost? Hold on. Copy it, you may cast the yeah, oh, that makes sense. Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. I think I misread it. Yeah. Okay, you may cast the okay, so that's okay. Oh, I was like, that's not okay. All right. So 2 mana to flashback. That's okay. All right, never mind. This is fine. This is a fine card. It is okay. So the first one or 2, is a free one. And then this one is actually you have to pay. Okay. We're fine. I was like, damn. It's still a Snapcaster enchantment without flash, obviously. So it's still good. I don't think it's as good as I thought it was, of course. All right. Fair. Read the card. Sorry. All right. Frost Fist Strider. Ward 2, 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, tap target creature. Okay, so that's gonna be good. So the Berg Strider was great. So, and this one has Ward 2 too. So this is good. I like this a lot. Reading this plane discards this plane. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so I like this card. I like Frostfist Strider a lot. I think it's a very good card in blue. Yeah, that's a higher pick, definitely. It is double blue where Berg Strider was just 1 blue / snow mana thing. So, right? Yeah, snow mana? Man, sorry. Blue snow mana? I don't even fucking... So, anyway. Hunt, yeah, it was snow mana, and then it was... Yeah. Alright, Haunting Figment. Vigilance can't be blocked as long as you cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn. Meh. This probably will end some games, but not a ton. So, I'm not a huge fan of this card. It's fine. It's filler. Impede Momentum. Top target creature, put 3 stun counters on it. That is effectively a 2 mana removal spell for blue. I think Impede Momentum is very good. I think this is effectively a removal spell for something that doesn't have, triggered abilities, right? I really like, Impede Momentum. I actually like this card a lot. I think this is really good. I think it's a high pick in blue. I like this card. I wish it were instant. I think it would be so good at instant. But that's, yeah. So I think this is very good. And then there's Impulse. Impulse is a great card. So, run this card. It's good. Level up. So, yes. So Impede Momentum sounds great. I'm actually really excited to see what this card does and if it's as good as I think it is. I think in blue that's equivalent to a removal spell. 3 turns that you get when not having to deal with that creature plus a scry. That seems really good at 2 mana. I like it. Now, obviously, there are going to be cards, like I said, that have triggered abilities that make this less good, but you can work around that, I think. You tap the stuff that's gonna kill your you tap the stuff that's gonna kill your defenders, and then you just like mill them out. It's cool, it's fine. You get 3 turns to do so, it's fine. Impulse is card selection. Impulse is good. 2 mana, instant speed card selection is really good. I don't think you're gonna run like a million of them necessarily, unless you have a million haunting figments. But I think 1 or 2 of these is quite good. Joint exploration. Scry 2, draw a card. If the spell is kicked, you can put a land card. Huh. Yeah, let's see. 3 mana. Try to draw cards. Yeah, I like that in a blue-green deck. I don't think I like it in any other deck, though, really. No, scry 2, draw a card is still good. I think I like Impulse better if you are not. Because Impulse sees 2 more cards. I think Impulse is better if you're not in a green deck, and I think Joint Exploration is better if you are kicking it. So if you're doing this, if you're doing the kicker and you can pay the kicker, this is a better card. If you're not, this is a better card. Absolutely. All right, Micromancer. Managing the micros. Mancing the micros. All right, so 3/3. So it's a hill giant, and then when it enters the battlefield, you can search your library for an instant sorcerer card. Now 1 really. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like this card. This is an early card pick. What can I get with it though? Rona's Vortex. Shore Up. Yeah, if I can get Shore Up, I'm good with that. What else? Timely Interference. Oh, Timely Interference is really good. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, I like Micromancer a lot. I think that's a high pick. Absolutely. I don't think it's a super high pick until you already have like a couple mana value 1 spells that are good, but it's a still high pick. And I think you can spec on it early before you have those, just because people may pass those. Negate. Negate and Essence Scatter in the same set. I hate this. I hate when counter magic is all people are doing. I really hate it. So negate plus Essence Scatter plus this other counter spell on the second spell. I don't like when counter magic is all blue is doing. I really hate it. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. Shore Up the answer when your kid asks you you're waiting for at 4:30 a.m. Ah, man. Do I hate bombs or counter magic heavy sets more? That's a really good question. That's really hard to decide. I hate both. Like, I hate the bombs that read I win the game sets, and I hate... Yes, I do, Thomas Durzo. I do play Commander. I love Commander. So, like, I hate Vow and Baldur's Gate for bombs, but I also hated when there was a set in which both of these were before Negate and Essence Scatter, and there were at least one set where that was the case. I think it was one of the core sets, like M12 or something like that, and I hated it. I hated facing blue in that. It was so bad. It's just like, if you're not, like, it's no fun for, like, limited is no fun, because you're just like, can I just play spells and can we have a game? Yeah, so I'm not going to have a lot of fun against blue in this set, and I'm not going to have a lot of fun playing blue in this set. I don't like just sitting back with Essence Scatter and Negate, and obviously this silly thing. Cancel plus strictly better cancel. Phyrexian Espionage, 2 and a blue, kicker that, draw 2 cards. If the spell was kicked, each opponent discards a card. It's divination at its base, but you could also kick it. And so it's not a high pick for me, but it's fine. It's not unplayable, but it's not good either. Yeah, I say to divination. Remember, so what divination does, unless you have like casting spell synergies, like where like when you cast a spell something happens, so you get a bonus for that. Divination, if you remember, draw 2 cards, right? For 3 mana, sorcery speed means you're only up 1 card, effectively. Does that make sense? So divination is stronger in very slow sets, but it's just not good in aggressive sets. The thing about divination is, like I said, it is decent to go up a card in slow sets. But if this isn't a slow set, then it's going to be way worse than it would normally be, and it's still not that great. And the added kicker is 5 mana to make them discard 1 card. So it's like, it's okay. It's not unplayable, but it's not good either. Pixie Illusionist. Okay, 1 for a 1 mana flyer. Okay, so, but it's got other stuff. It's got kicker. That's great. And target land you control becomes the basic land type of your choice. That's good for domain. I like this card. I think this card is actually really, really good because it is a 5 mana 3/3 flyer late game, which is already good. Which is not great. Like you're sacrificing a little bit of play for that, right? Because normally blue makes 5 mana 4/4s and uncommon usually, but this is good. So Pixie Illusionist is, so it's a 4/4 late game. 3/3 late game and a 1/1 early game, but it also can fix for the Dominion or Domain or whatever it is. So I actually like that. I think this is a good card. I like things that you can do early, because a 1 mana 1/1 flyer isn't that great. It doesn't do that much unless you can put the Curiosity on it, which is nice. I actually do like this if you're in blue-green. I don't know about if you're not. It depends on how many of those Curiosity stuff that you got and how much domain you're in. Like, if you have a lot of basic land types, I really like this one. And as long as you have the green as the sort of second main color here, I like it. So this is a good card. I like it. It's not a high pick, but it's a mid to late pick, I think. Probably like early late pick, if that makes sense. Target land becomes the basic land type of your choice. That's really kind of cool. Because again, domain cares about that. So remember, that makes cards like this up 1 up here a little bit better. Where's my domain thingy? Yeah, this one. Artillery Blast, for example. So it can potentially get you an extra basic land type. Again, we'll see how strong those types of mechanics are. That they have a lot of work to put in to do that. But yeah. Protect the Negotiators. Oh, god damn. Oh, ugh. I don't like this. I don't like the blue. I don't like the blue at all. I hate just mono counter magic. There's like 5 counter spells already, and we're just in the commons and uncommons. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 4 so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, and several of them are just like, I hate this. Rona's Vortex. Okay. Blue mana. Kicker 3. Return target creature or planeswalker you don't control to its owner's hand. Its spells kick, put the Yeah, this is a good card. This is a very good card if you're in blue-black. This is very, very good. Okay. So it's just a strictly better unsummon, except that you can't target your own creatures. And targeting your own creatures is actually relevant in limited, of course, so but it's really good with a kicker. 4 mana, so it's unsummon or grip tied on your opponent's creatures. As long as you have black. So it's fine. Yeah. I like this card. I think it's a early mid pick. I don't think it's first pickable. Shore Up. It's a Homerid. Target creature gets +1/+1, gains hexproof until end of turn, untap it. Yeah. So I like Shore Up a little bit here. It's not going to be like hugely, it's not going to be first pick. It's going to be, but it's not true filler either. So I do like getting one of those. It's a fine trick. +1/+1 and hexproof and untap is nice. Soaring Drake. It's a 2/3 for 3. Okay, fine. Unexciting. Still nice things to put. Yeah, Shore Up is going to make combat a nightmare, yes. Soaring Drake is going to be good with Curiosity and not much else. All right, Talus Lookout. 3/2 for 4, not impressive stats. When it dies, draw a card with selection. Okay. And fill up the graveyard. Okay. I have to see about the graveyard synergies. But we have seen, if you wanted to go Esper, we have seen this one here. So return target creature card from your graveyard hand. So that would synergize really well with this card. So I would prefer it to not be double blue for a 3/2, but there you are. It's a 3/2 flyer. Two toughness is not amazing because we've seen a lot of things with 2 power and flying that are cheaper than this. I do like that it gives you a card afterwards, though. I just think 4 mana could be better spent. We'll see. We'll see how whether this comes up in my estimation later. Tidepool Turtle 3 and a blue 2/5 Scry 1. Yeah, okay. This looks like it was art left over from like Kaladesh. Anyway, so the turtle seems okay. It's not great at all. I think that I have to see the general power level of stuff in this, especially the aggressive stuff. But I think a 2/5 butt with the ability to potentially scry late game to open up the game, I think that's okay. I mean that it's not unplayable. I think we'll see. All right, I like timely interference a lot. I saw this as I was scrolling down. All right, so blue kicker 1 and a red, -1/-0. Has to block this turn if able, draw a card. I actually think it's fine. It replaces itself, and it, like, if they have a card that is doing some crazy stuff to you, you can kill it. So, like, let's say you have, right, a Tidepool Turtle, and they have a stupid 3/2 flyer, right, that didn't attack, they just played out that turn. You can be like, haha, maybe if it's like a 5/2, right, you give it -1/-0, make sure it blocks and attack and draw a card. Like, I think this is actually quite good, even without the kicker. But I think it's fine. Like, well, no, it's okay without the kicker. It's good with the kicker, I think. I think this card is actually going to do more than you think it is. Tolarian Geyser. Target creature don't send draw a card. A spell was kicked to gain 3 life. Yeah, that can change combat math a lot. For like if they're attacking on a crazy turn and you're just like, I gained 3. Put that card back in your hand. Attack for lethal. Yeah, it's a sorcery speed spell, so that makes it worse, but I think it's okay. So we'll see about that one. I think it's worse than I would like, but it's still okay. Tolarian Terror, 7 mana, 1 less for each instant sorcery spell in your graveyard. This can, I mean, depending on how... Oh, God, the counterspell decks are just going to run counterspells in these. That's going to piss me the hell off. I hate it. I can already tell there's just certain decks where I'm just going to be like, I'm going to hate this game. Like, if they play an island, I'm just going to be like, I hate this already. So... There are going to be decks where they just build, like they build Protect the Negotiators, Negate, Essence Scatter, and Urtai's Scorn, and some, Impulse, right? And then they just play Tolarian Terrors, and you're just going to be like, cool. Oh, I don't like seeing that card. Voda Sea Scavenger, 3 mana 2/2, sorry, 3 mana 3/2, Domain. Look at the top X cards. X is number of basic land cards. Oh, so this is what they're trying to make the okay. So it's just a better organ hoarder if you have domain stuff. Okay, I like this card. So Voda Sea Scavenger I really like, especially if you're in this domain stuff with the Pixie Illusionist, blah blah blah. Yeah, you don't get to draw it. It's on top of your library. But it allows you to sort and do things for just 3 mana for a 3/2. So it's basically scry a bunch if you can. So it's not useless. I like it as a 3-drop. That's fine for blue. It's not a counterspell. I'm fine. It's like Octoprophet. Yeah. Step 3, Octoprophet. Okay. So let's hope it's okay. Like it's not a high pick. I'm not trying. I'm just saying it's not a dead. Not unplayable. Volsha Tide Turner. 2 mana for a 1/3. Cast an instant sorcerer spell or a kicked spell. This actually overperforms in any spell type deck. We had the other one. That had the exact same stats, but also didn't Just said instant or sorcery spell, not necessarily kicked spell. So this actually adds to those kicker like creatures, which I actually really like. So this is even better than that. This seems good. So yeah, I can cast your counter magic too. Yeah, okay. You can't. Tenoshi and Dalkash are on it. Yeah. Oh god. Okay. Oh god. And Togepi. Oh, you people hate me. Oh, hey, that can cast the counter spells that you hate. Yeah, it can. It can. All right, on to the black. Here we go. Aggressive Sabotage. Kicker 1 red. So 4 mana. Target player discards 2 cards with spells, kicks. Is that? So Blightning was 1 mana fewer. All right, this is definitely playable. It's not great, but it's playable. I don't know that an aggro deck wants to spend 4 mana on this unless it's the final points of damage, or unless they unless this is sort of, you know, their final 2 cards, right? And you're just like, I know you were building to that bomb and I'm just going to take it out of your hand. All right, so this one is okay. I think it's more control-y than, and I don't know whether black-red would be control-y, but I can see some uses for it as like the last card. All right, so Balduvian Atrocity. 2/3 menace already for fine stats here. When it ETBs, if it was kicked, return target creature card mana veil 3 or less from your graveyard. What? Yeah, seems good. I like it. Yeah. This is a high mid pick. Yep. Especially if we can find some 2 mana or 3 mana creatures that have ETB effects. If this set is slow enough, even just the 2/3 menace for 3 is not that bad. Remember the Minotaurs and other things that we've had in the past. Argivian Cavalier. Argivian Cavalier would be a great one to get with that. Okay. I mean, so far we've seen a few things that would work with it. So Battlefly Swarm has to pay to gain Death Touch. Traditionally, that hasn't been great, but it is a flyer, so it does block other flyers. So this is going to be a late pick, but still a pick, probably. Just because black doesn't necessarily have a ton of ways to deal with the flyers that, you know, blue puts out and white puts out. So it's not great if they're putting out little 1/1 flyers like we have up here with the Wingmantle Chaplain, but it's good if they were putting out the other flyers. Battle Rage Blessing, Death Touch, and Indestructible. That's actually a fine trick. I'd rather draw a card like Blade Brand, but it's okay. Blight Pile. I want to do Domain Defenders. That's my dream. Someday I will do it. I swear. Domain Defender sounds so good. 5-color Defender. And then they'll counter all my defenders that matter, so damn it. Okay. Bone Splinters has always been a very good pickup, especially if you can create tokens. That's really, really great. So black-white wants this most. I mean, unless I see in red that we have a lot of red tokens. But Blight Pile is good with those defender synergies. Braid's Frightful Return. Yeah, that art is sick. Jeremy Wilson, it looks like. So Braid's Fright. Yeah, is this Dominique Meyer? Wow. Okay, so you may sacrifice a creature if you do. Each opponent discards a card. That's nice to have the option. That's fine. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Good stuff. For 3, okay. Target opponent may sacrifice a non-land, non-token permanent. If they don't, they lose 2 life and you draw a card. Yeah, it's fine. I like it. I think it's good, especially if you create creature tokens. So black-white is going to want both of these, as is black-red if red has a bunch of like goblin tokens and stuff. Choking Miasma. Okay. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. That's just a good staple card for a bigger black deck. I just heard how that sounded. That was awesome. Anyway, the read ahead mechanic for you to ADD to read the whole thing. Yeah, I'll just go to 3, whatever. Yeah, so if the spell was kicked, put a +1 on counter each. Whoa, holy shit, this is gonna be good. Yeah. Oh, I like this card. It may wipe your opponent's board. It may be a one-sided Wrath. This is so good. Yeah. This is really good for a bigger, blacker deck. Okay, moving along. Um, so Cult Concert. Only a non-skeleton creature died under your control this turn. Eh. It's a fine card. I'm not a huge fan of it. Cut down. To strike target creatures with total power and toughness 5 or less. That's gonna hose me every time I take it. They're always gonna have power and toughness 6 total when I try to do something. Nah, I think you take this card, and I think you take it probably pretty highly. And you hope. Yeah, it's pretty low on stats. You got a 3-1 right next to it. We saw a 3-2 before. The only things I worry about is like the 2-5s on that one. But yeah, I think this card is decent. Especially at instant speed. You just hope that you don't have it in hand when they play like the 5-5 that like after all those counter magics before with the ward 2. All right, Eerie Soul Tender. And remember that pump speed spells make this like really, really painful to cast. Eerie Soul Tender, 2 and a black, enters mill 3 cards, exile it from your graveyard, return another card to creature. Yeah, that's a really good versatile card. I like that actually. It can trade up early. This is for the bigger deck. It's not for the more aggressive deck, I don't think. It can trade early, and then later it can get this stuff back, I think. It's fine in an aggressive deck as well. It's just not, you know, as exciting as I'd like it in an aggressive deck. But it gives you something lit to do later, and yeah, seems good. Okay. Especially in a, like, if you have any recursion, I like this. Like, this would be so good with the white uncommon that says 1 and a black kicker, return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. That's fine, because it already mills those, and then you get another value out of this later. So, extinguish the light. Destroy target creature or planeswalker if its mana value is 3 or less, gain 3 life. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I don't like it that it's killing Jaya. That's annoying. That's really annoying. But the spell is good. Especially for it giving you a reward for paying 4 mana to have to kill something small. So I really like that. Because a lot of the problem with having to kill... So 4 mana kill at instant isn't fine. This makes up for 4 mana killing at instant speed against an aggressive deck. It makes it much better. Because a lot of times you'll have an array, like you'll get to 4 mana where you can finally kill something, then you have an array of like a giant array of 2/2s against you, and you have to kill one of them, right? This makes up a little bit for having to wait to 4 mana to do so. So I very much like this card. I think this is very good removal. It's been pushed to the right degree for black against small creatures. So I like this. But I don't understand why they had to kill off like one of our only older planeswalkers. Like, it's annoying. Yeah, pour one out. Seriously. Cheers to Jaya. All right, so Gibbering Barricade. It's a defender. Sacrifice your creature, gain 1 life, and draw a card. But you have to pay 3. I don't really like it. It's fine, but I don't really like it. It's playable, but not great. Oh, it's a Drew Tucker art. Nice. Kill Jai, get 57 more Chandra cards. Yeah. Knight of Dusk's Shadow, also going to be good. It is the antithesis of the other knight. That makes sense. But it's still a 2 mana, 2/2 menace that is great late game too. So this is good. So Monstrous Warleech, kicker blue, 4 mana, enters the battlefield, was kicked, mill 4 cards. Power and toughness each equal to the highest mana value among cards in your graveyard. Interesting. You really do only want to play this in a bigger deck, Dimir deck, because I can see a lot of times where 3 is the maximum you're gonna get. And it won't be so much monster. It's being ridden by a Homerid, by the way. That's adorable. I didn't see that. With a scepter. And if they can remove your graveyard, that's gonna be horrible. Yeah, I'm gonna have to see how this one plays out. We'll see. I'm not sure about how to value this card. At first glance, I'm gonna say like late mid pick, but yeah. Oh, Phyrexian Rager, always good, except when it kills you. And you can't play it, therefore. So yeah, but Rager's great. Phyrexian, time to pull a Rager. Phyrexian Vivisector. Whenever a creature you control dies, scry 1. That's not as good as the, like, when it taps, scry 1 and draw and gain a life. But it's still fine. 2-mana bear, with upside. Not bad. It's gonna be filler. Phyrexian Warhorse. 3 and a black, 3/3, so Hill Giant. Kicked her 1 white, so it's 5 mana total. If it was kicked, create a 1/1 white soldier token. 1 sacrifice another creature. It's gonna eat its rider? Horse Supremacy. Yeah, I don't know for 5 mana that you... So 5 mana, you get 4 power and 2 bodies. Yeah, I'm not sure how good this is. I'm going to have to evaluate it later. I think in the black-white, which does create a lot of 1/1s for it to eat, that's probably okay. But I don't think it's going to be a high pick at all, ever, even in that deck. Pilfer. Oh my god, that artwork. To the merchant, it was nothing more than a few missing trinkets. To Tiny Bones, it was the greatest heist of all time. So great! Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Tiny Bones! Yeah, 2 mana Thoughtseize. So here's the thing about... Okay, so here's the thing about Duress and other things in Limited. I don't think you should run them unless you're in best of 3 and you know your opponent has a bomb. So Cube is fine to run them in because your opponent has bombs, right? And you can take a bomb out of their hand for 1 mana. The thing about running Duress and Pilfer and Thoughtseize and so on and so forth in Limited is that you are losing a card to take a card out of their hand. With Duress, you might not even take a card out of their hand. But you're losing a card and 2 mana, investment to not impact the board in Limited. And that is actually really pretty bad. The slower the set is, the better it is. But still, it's just not good enough usually. This one is non-land card, so it is better than Duress. It is better than even the Ostracize, which was Creature, right? So this can hit either. It is 1 more mana for a Thoughtseize. You don't have to lose a life, but I still think that this type of effect is not that good in Limited. Now, 1 mana to 2 mana jump is too big. It for me to still say yes. I still wouldn't run Thoughtseize, right? So, unless I know they have a bomb, unless I'm doing best of 3 and I know they have a bomb, then I'll side in Pilfer, right? If they have a bomb I can't handle, absolutely side in Pilfer, right? Side in Thoughtseize. If it's a creature side in Ostracize if you used to have it. Sanger Connoisseur, 5 mana for a 3/3 flyer. Whenever 1 or more other creatures die, put a +1/+1 counter on Sanger Connoisseur. This ability only triggers once per turn. All right, but that could be a reason to run the Phyrexian Warhorse, which is interesting. Do we have, and obviously the Vivisector, Warhorse, and Connoisseurs synergize pretty well. And the sacrifice effect here for the Connoisseur, but you have to make a lot of treasure tokens for that to be good. So I like this in the black-white that we've seen so far, and I probably will like it in red if red makes a lot of tokens. I still like it. I think it's a very good card. So Shadow Prophecy. Domain. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. Put up to 2 of them into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. You lose 2 life. Okay, so read the bones, but not scry 2, draw 2. Instead, it can be better or it can be worse. Ugh. Sheoldred's Restoration. Oh, making Sheoldred come back! Alright. 4 mana. Oh. Wait, so it's a 4 mana reanimate, unless you pay the 3 and pay a 7 mana. Wait, what? Okay, and then you gain the life instead of losing it. we've had Zombify at 4 mana before where you could just do it. No, I know. Reanimate makes you lose the life, but it's 1 mana. So you don't lose, you gain the life instead if you pay 7 mana. You lose the life if you don't pay 7 mana, but that's awful because 4 mana we could already do Zombify. We've already had put target creature Zombify, or in white you had Resurrection, right? Like paying 7 is paying 4 for this effect for Reanimate is not good because we've so many effects that are just 4, right? At 7 mana, just cast the creature. I know, it's like cast another thing. Like, I don't know. It's not great. I don't like this card overall. I think in this set it may be good. 4 mana Reanimate with a life cost, yeah. 7 mana for your bomb in the graveyard, yeah, but how often are you gonna have that happen? Like, the 4 mana, you know, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield, which was Zombify or Resurrect, like Resurrection, that was just fine, right? That was a decent spell, right? This is not, but I'm not impressed with this card at baseline at all. We'll see how this goes, but my initial reaction is ew. But let's see. Okay, Splatter Goblin. I can already tell I'm gonna love this. 2 mana, 2/1. When it dies, target creature and opponent controls. Oh, come on. The 1 mana, 1/1 for -1 was better, I think. It's a Phyrexian Goblin. Yeah, it's still fine. It's just not great. So I was hoping it'd be better. Like if it were -2/2, that would be so crazy awesome. It's not Shamblagast. Exactly. Grr. All right, Tattered Apparition, 4 mana, 2/2 flyer, and it has Shade. Okay. So okay. Yeah, I mean, this is a good card. I think it's going to be a late mid pick. Or sorry, early late pick rather. Not a late mid, but early late pick. That can do some craziness. You're not going to want it in the domain decks at all. You're going to want it in a more specialized black, probably a 2-color deck maximum. So I do like it. Apparition plus Fling. Throwing shade. You win the interwebs for today, dear person. Go Bioluminesce. It's 4 mana 2/2 flyer though. You have to keep, and the Shade ability is really powerful. Usually, again, you just have to make sure that you specialize. You make sure that you focus on 2 colors, maximum for that one. If it's mono, it's great. It flies and shades. So Toxic A-Bomb. Toxic Abomination. When it enters the battlefield, you lose 2 life. No. No. I don't like this card. Toxic, but to whom? Yeah. You need to be hugely aggressive for this to make it into your deck. Absolutely. So, okay. Tribute to Urborg. 1 and a black. That looks like Purage of Urborg. That looks like a hot callback to Purage. All right, 1 and a black, kicker, 1 and a blue. Target creature gets -2/2 until the turn the spell is kicked. An additional -1/1 for each instant and sorcery card. Oh, it's a mirror with the counter magic. Hate it. Okay, this is a good card. It's a very good card for removal. It's a mid pick. And they run their counter spells and your 5/5 ward 2 things that get cheaper for the counter spells in your graveyard and the instants and sorceries in your graveyard. And you play this and kill all their things and then play your 5/5s and win. It's cool. Urborg Repossession. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. Gain 2 life. If spell is kicked, return another permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. So 3 mana, return 2 permanent cards. No, a creature and a permanent. Yeah, I like this card, actually. I think this is good if you're running green. If you don't run green, don't do it. I don't think Raise Dead is good, but I think a 2-for-1 is good. You don't want to run Raise Dead. Raise Dead is not enough value for your mana usually. I do think running both is good. Anything that you remember, like in the past, Soul Salvage and all the other ones that let you return 2 things from your graveyard, 2 creatures. This one lets you do a creature and another creature, or a creature and any permanent. So I like this card quite a bit. So in longer games, this will help you win the game and turn the tide and get value. I like this card. 2 life is a nice bonus. Yeah. Yeah. I still wouldn't run it in only black. Unless you're really desperate and have a serious bomb. Writhing Necromass. Okay, so 1 less for each creature card in your graveyard. Yeah, I like this card, okay. It's not as good as the blue mana for what it wants to do, nor... So the black and the white so far that we've seen that cost 1 less for whatever, right? 1 for the creature for the white, 1 for the creature in the graveyard for black. Those aren't as good as the blue. The blue is sick in the deck that it wants to be in. So, but yeah. The white is the second best that I've seen so far. This is the third best. All right, Balduvian Berserker, 1/3 in list. Oh, that's a really good card. Yeah, I like this card. This is a really high pick for red. Aggro. This is a really high pick. This is very, very good. It has enlist. So the next thing you play, right? Let's say you play this on 4. This then becomes a 4/3 attacker. But not only that, they don't want to block and kill it. So they're either chumping it or taking 4. This is very, very good. And the 3 toughness is huge here. I know it costs 3 for a 1/3, and that doesn't look good to begin with. But when it dies, it deals damage to its power to any target. That is so good. You can't enlist... Right. You can't enlist summoning sick things. So you have to enlist whatever you played on 2 before this. I'm sorry. Not this one. The thing before it. Play a 2-drop like the infantry here. And you get +1. It's still a 2/3, which means if it dies, if they kill it, they're still going to have 2 damage going to their face or to another creature. That's just not good for them. I really like this card. I think this card is very, very good. I think I'm going to try to enlist things that are summoning sick for the first, like, day or so. And then I'll get it. But yeah. So, and it goes face. It goes any target. You can go to Planeswalker. It can go face. It can go, yeah, to creature. I like this card a lot. I think it's very good. Electrostatic Infantry is going to do stupid shits. I really like that card, obviously. And Dragon Whelp has always been good. And it's still going to be good. That dwarf is really scary, absolutely. Coalition Warbrutes, like you could play this and then sit behind the counter magic until you play those stupid 5/5s. I don't like the red... I don't like the red-blue deck that I'm seeing come out of this. I don't like it at all. Coalition Warbrute, 3/4, Enlist, Trample. That's lovely. Anything with Enlist is Trample. So good. I actually like this card. It is a 3/4, so it is better than a Hill Giant. And the fact that it has Trample is really good. So I think this is an early-late pick. Meaning, so if there's early picks, there's middle picks, and there's late picks. This is going to be an early-late pick. On the early side of late. Fires of Victory. If the spell was kicked, draw a card, deals damage to target creature, planeswalker. Huh. Yeah, that card's good. That is a very early pickable card. I'm assuming that you can play this on 2 with like 2 cards, like with like 4 cards in hand if you really want to. Around 3s. So yeah, it's just good. At instant speed. Target creature or planeswalker. Yeah, this seems good. Flowstone Infusion. Target creature gets +2/-2 until end of turn. This is just the normal. It's not an enchantment, so like Immolation. So it's has a different good thing. So Flowstone Infusion. Yeah, it's a removal spell for 1 early. I don't mind it there. I liked the actual enchantment better, I think. Although this does make combat a little bit better. And you could also potentially kill. Like, for example, if they don't block this and you need to do 4, it's a fine thing. It's a fine card. I would probably pick it quite early just because we've seen a lot of 2 toughness and 1 toughness things that I would like to kill early. So this is probably a early mid pick. Flowstone Kavu, 2 and a black, and Menace. Oh, the Flowstone mechanic. I see. Yeah, it's fine. It's not great. Furious Bellow. Target creature gets +3/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Scry 1. Shout loudly and go. +3/+0 and first strike until end of turn. Scry 1. I would have preferred trample. That's fine. Flavor text. Minotaurs sometimes pretend to be lost in a battle rage, leading their opponents to underestimate their cleverness. Nice, okay. Gets you amplifier. Turn target creature to... Oh, God. Yeah, this card is sick. That's actually really, really good. You can get an additional mana war late game, and early game, it's kind of a small wee Dragonauts without... Sorry, so it's a Kiln Fiend. It's a Kiln Fiend. Wow. Yeah, this card is nuts. Good. Get you amplifiers really, really good. All right, Goblin Picker. Rummage. Okay, for a red. It's a 2-mana goblin with upside. It's fine. Hammerhand is back! This card, you're gonna have to be very careful to play around. Not to be confused with Goblin Piker, yeah. So Hammerhand is a good card, and you're gonna have to... this is a hard card to play around, but don't estimate... Like, this is just a good card. Like, play a creature, give it +1/+1 and haste, and target creature can't block this turn is just really good. Hammerhand is so good. You're gonna lose to that card, and you're gonna hate it. Exactly. Make sure you have enough creatures in your deck for it, but other than that, it's a really good card. It's a high mid pick? No, it's a mid pick. Hurler Cyclops. 1. Sacrifice another creature, deals 1 damage to any target. Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. Yeah, it's a 5/4. It's an Earth Elemental. No, it's a Fire Elemental. It's a Fire Elemental with upside. I like it. Hurloon Battle Hymn. 4 damage to target creature. Yeah, good card. That's a very good card. That's a very high pick. Even without... It's just 4 damage for a 3 spell. Instant speed. That's good. Removal is good. I like the artwork, too. Enthrall to the Pit. Lord of the Pit. Gain control target creature until end of turn. Untap the creature, gains haste. At the beginning of the next upkeep. Next end step. Oh, okay. So you don't get to do... So it's not as good as Grab the Reins because you don't get to sacrifice it and fling it at them. Yeah, so this is a fine card. I don't mind this threaten effect because you can sacrifice the creature itself if you get the mana. If this is slow enough, I think this is a good card. Otherwise, it'll be like your 21st, 22nd card, maybe 23rd. Jaya's Fire NATO! For all their supposed advances, the Phyrexians still aren't fireproof. 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker, scry 1. That's just going to be your average 5 damage removal spell that we've seen for 5 for a long time with a scry 1. The other one had... The one more recently that we had 5 damage target creature or destroy an artifact. I forget what that was from, but yeah. So this is a fine card. It's not great. It's a lot of mana for not too much, but it's good. And the artwork is cool. All right, Keldon Strike Team. 2 in a red, 3/1, kicker 1 in a white. Enters the battlefield with kick trait 2. As long as they enter the battlefield this turn, creatures you control have haste. Nice! Okay. Yeah, I really like this card in Boros. Absolutely. That is nice. Lightning Strike is always going to be high pick. High pick and limited. Very, very high. Marius Outrider, 5 mana, 4/4 reach in red. Elf Archer. Yay, it's an archer that actually has reach again. Yay! So when it enters the battlefield, deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of... Oh, okay, yay! A domain payoff card! More domain payoff cards. I like this. Okay. It's not going to be a high pick, but I would love that in my domain decks. Not going to be high. Molten Monstrosity. X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Yeah, that's good. I actually like that. You might be really tempted to run 1 or 2 of those in a... Oh, greatest power among. Okay, hold on. It's not the total. Yeah, I'd be tempted to run 1 or 2 of those in an aggressive deck. Phoenix Chick! 1 mana for a 1/1 flying haste. Can't block. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may pay 2. You do return from it tapped and attacking with... I think it's too adorable that you can't not put it in your deck, right? This is really cute. Uh, small and angry. Yeah. I think it could be very irritating to an opponent, but I don't think it's a good late game card to find. So I don't think it's an early pick. I think it's late mid. I can't block, but I can love. Yes. So yeah, late mid. It's not that impressive. If you have lots of things that can pump it, like enchantments that can pump it or something like that, permanently pump it, then maybe. But eh. Alright, Smash to Dust. Destroy target artifact, creature with defender. This might be key in the set if everybody's doing those defender mechanics. You might actually need to take one of these and main deck it. I don't know how good the artifacts are in this set yet, so we'll see. But it's possible that, and there's a lot of 1/1 tokens, 1 toughness creatures and 1 token. So Smash to Dust may be something that you absolutely have to like run one of in this format because it's versatile enough and it does enough to stop crazy things from your opponents doing. But in the domain decks, for example, like you might want to run a domain decks just to level the board if you need to, or destroy, while you're building up. You don't want them to be doing all those crazy things with defenders. So we'll see. I have to see what the artifacts look like to see whether it's truly as versatile as we want. Because if they're good artifacts, then it will be. If there aren't good artifacts, then it might be a little bit wonky. Sprouting Goblin. It's sprouting things. Goblin Druid 2/2. When an entered battlefield was kicked, search your library for a land card based on land type, reveal it, put it into your hand, but not onto the battlefield. Sacrifice a land, draw a card. Yeah, I like this card. I don't think it's super high, but I think it's good enough. Sprouting Goblin's good. I like it for late game, especially if you're flooding out. You can find some more stuff to do. The problem is it's Gruul, and Gruul almost always is mana hungry and wants to cast big things. So I do like that it finds you a land to make sure that you hit your land drops, but it's a little bit weird. We'll see. So Thrill of Possibility is always going to be a utility card in either the spells deck or the aggressive deck. Twin Inferno. Jaya and Joda. More fire? More fire. So choose one. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for that copy. Or target creature you control gains double strike until next turn. Yeah, that's a versatile enough card that I really like that card. I don't think it's a super high pick. It's a mid pick, I think. But the double strike, the ability to choose one or the other of those is quite nice. So you do want to, I think, do that card. So Branch Rider, kicker 2 and a green haste. If it's 2, so for 4 mana you get a 3/3 haste. That's not bad. And then it has double fire breathing for 3. It's fine. So Warhost's Frenzy, 2 and a red, kicker black. Creatures get +2/+0 until end of turn. If it was kicked, draw. Whenever it dies, draw a card. Ooh, that is nice at instant. Oh, I like this very, very much. This is a very good card. Yeah, this is very good. Yavimaya Steel Crusher. Apes. Gorilla. 1 and a red for a 2/2 plus enlist and sacrifice a target artifact. I like that one. That one's good. The versatility on that is very good. Yosha declares war. Create an O2 color Thopter token. Ornithopter. Tap any number of untapped artifacts you control when it deals that much damage to target creature or planeswalker. Okay. You're gonna have to privilege artifacts there. We'll do 1. Up to 1 target artifact you control becomes a creature with base power and toughness 4/4 until end of turn. Okay, alright. That could be really good if you get enough artifacts early. I have to see what the artifacts are in the set, but if you get early artifacts in this, you might just go to the 3 and make a 4/4 on turn 2, which would be really cool. Go ahead. Touch my monkey. Barkweave Crusher. So 2/5 for a 4 plus enlist. That's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Bite down. Target creature you control deals damage equal to power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. So Rabid Bite has always been good. That's a high pick. Bog Badger. Oh, that's gonna be mean. I'm gonna die to this card a lot. Okay, really, really good. Broken Wings always is going to be good in a deck with a lot. A set with a lot of flyers. and or a set with good artifacts or enchantments. We'll see whether this is main deckable. It absolutely was main deckable in New Capenna, so we'll see if it does that. Colossal Growth, +3/+3 or +4/+4, trample and haste. Jesus. Okay, this is a really good trick. Okay. Slash like play this and give thing trample and kill things. That's just nuts. Okay. Death touch as one. Okay, I mean, I'd rather this cost 2 and not have the death touch, but there you go. Yeah, I mean, this is fine. I think it's a little expensive for a ramper. I don't really want a ramper on 3 that much. I would rather not have death touching be on 2, so I'm gonna have to see how well this performs, but I think a 3 mana 1/1 on 3 is just not good enough, even if it adds. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Elfame Worm, 5/4 Vigilance Trample. Yeah, it's a serviceable card. It's not great. Elvish Hydromancer. 3 and a 3/2 kicker, 3 and a blue. Enters the battlefield, was kicked, create a token. This. Whoa! Okay, so 7 mana, create a token, or just a 3 mana 3/2. Yeah, not exciting stats when you don't kick it, but if you can kick it and have a good creature, that's nice. And you can copy itself, I guess, so that's fine. All right. Floriferous Vine Wall. Floriferous. Okay. 2 mana, 0/2. When it enters the battlefield, wheel the top 6 cards. You can reveal a land from among them. Yeah, that's fine. Especially in the Domain Defender decks. I'm so excited about those. It's not great, but it's fine. Gaia's Might. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each basic land type. Okay, that could be very bad. Not as excited about that one for the domain, even for the domain deck as I would be normally. But it can be a 1 mana plus easy 1 mana +3/+3. So again, if you get the domain, we have to see how easy it is to get the domain. Hexbane Tortoise, 2 and a green, ward 2, 3/2 enlist. Meh. Linebreaker Baloth, 5 mana, 4/5 enlist, can't be blocked. Yeah, that card's great. That card's great. That's a high pick in green. Llanowar Stalker. Green 1/1. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. For a super aggressive green deck, that's good. I haven't seen green here be super aggressive, but maybe I just haven't seen the cards yet. Magnagoth Sentry, 4/4 reach for 4. That's great. That is a good statted card. That is actually a nice staple card. That's a mid pick, slash maybe high mid pick, depending on how this format goes. For the same cost. Mossbeard Ancient, 7 mana, 7/7 when enters battle. Yeah, okay. I'll take that all day. So that's a high mid pick. Or even a low high pick. Because the gaining 5 life is so crazy. Even at 7, it just puts you back in the game, and a 7/7 trample to block is nice. Neshoba Brawler. 2 mana, X3. Yay! Another thing for my domain deck. So yeah, it just depends on how much domain we can get. But how frequent those common lands are that have 2 land types would be so nice. Scout the Wilderness, 2 and a green, basic land type, put it, it's kicked, create 2. It's fine, not great. You probably run it in the domain deck, but it's so slow. Worse rampant growth. Slimefoot Survey. It is Slimefoot, okay. It was Slimefoot in that, too. So 5 mana, search the library for up to 2 land cards. Each have a basic land type. Put them on the battlefield, tap, and shuffle. Look at the top X cards, or X's number. It's okay. I gotta see how good this is. I'm not sure it's that good. I think it's too slow. At 5 mana, you really do want to be doing something that impacts the board beyond just putting 2 lands into play. And drawing 1 card from selection. It guarantees you probably looking at 3 cards at least, because you can find 2 basic lands, right? Types, and hopefully you have 1 already. So, maybe? But 5 mana? We'll see how slow this set is. Snare Spinner. Yeah, this overperforms almost always. Green kind of needs this, because there's a lot of flying in white and blue early. So, this is going to be a bigger pickup than you would think. Strength of the Coalition. So Super Stew, Put a plus. Oh, yeah, that card's dumb. That card's very, very dumb. Okay. Is that Lyra? But yeah, this card's good. I like it. As for your go wide decks. Sunbathing Root Walla. All right, I like this card. It has upside with the domain. I like it in your domain decks. That's very cute. I like it. Tail Swipe. Choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. If you cast a spell during your main phase, that creature you control gets bonus on. Then those creatures fight each other. Yep, like this card too. I like the Rabid Bite even better. But this is a good card. Terra Sunder, 1 and a green. Exile target artifact or enchantment. Non-land permanent instead. Ooh, yeah, I would play this in the green-black. And I would always kick it. Basically, I don't think artifact... I mean, maybe there's crazy artifacts or enchantments, but this is a very good card for green-black. Territorial Marrow! Mark Rosewater, here we go. Toughness and power equal to twice the number of basic land types among lands you control for 5. Yep, again, based on strength of domain. Weatherseed Treaty. All right, this one actually ramps you on 3. That's fine. 1 on green sapling creature plus X and gains trample, where X is the number of basic lands. Yeah, this is a fine card. That's fine. Vine Shaper Prodigy. 1 and a green, 2/2, kicker 2. Top 3. So you get... Wow. Okay. Yeah, no, that's really good. Good early and late game. Just, I mean, it's just a bear early. That's fine. But also, if you want to pay for 4 late game, you can put 1 into your hand, so you get an anticipation. Anticipate, rather. Anticipation. You get an anticipate in addition to it with kicker. So I really like this card. I think this is good. This is very good. So, Yavimaya Iconoclast. 2 mana 3/2 with kicker trample. Oh yeah, that's a very good card. Okay. All right. Nice. Nice. Yavimaya Sojourner, 7 and I think it costs 1 for less. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this one's good. As good as the other ones. A 4/6 is not that great for each basic land type. I mean, if you hit 3, it's still 5 mana? No. No, the other ones are better. Wrath, Weatherlight Stalwart. 2 mana, 1/3. Cast an instant sorcery. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, that's a good card. All right. Tura. Okay, I'm gonna mangle this. Kennerud. Kennerud? Kennerud, I think, but I'm not sure. So 2, a white, and a double blue. Whenever you cast an instant sword, yeah, that card's good too. All right, Rona, Sholdred's Faithful, and a virus too. Okay, 1 blue and double black for 3/4. Already a fine stat. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, each opponent loses 1 life. Discard 2 cards to replay it. Okay, that's fine. Vohar, Vodalian Desecrator. Draw a card, then discard a card. So loot. If you discard an instant or sorcery this way, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Okay, that's a good way to get stuff in the graveyard for those serpents. Oh, man. 2, sacrifice it. You can cast target instant or sorcery cards to your... Alright, so you have to still pay for it there. Yeah, this is a fine card. I don't think it's stupidly strong, but I think it's good. So Garna, Bloodfist of Keld. 4 mana, 4/3. Whenever another creature control dies, draw a card if it was attacking. Wow, that's stupid. Otherwise, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Jesus. Okay. This card is nuts. All right. I like that card. All right. So far, I've been most impressed with Raf and Garna, followed by Rona, followed by Tura, followed by Vohar. Lagomos, Hand of Hatred. So, Lagomos, Hand of Hatred is 1 and a black and a red. Beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste, sacrifice it. Search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Activate only 5 or more creatures. This is still just a dumb card. Like, with that angel that gets +1/+1 counters whenever anything dies. There are a lot of things that get synergies when anything dies and attacks. Like, so these two together are just stupid. Yeah, so I like both of these cards quite a bit. Okay. Yeah, I really like this pair quite well. Rada, Coalition Warlord. 4 mana for a 3/3. When it comes tapped, another target creature you control gets +X/+X where X is the... So domain. Yeah, my domain deck. I don't think it's that strong. Again, it has to be in a really good dedicated domain deck. Rulik Mons, Warren Chief. 4 mana, 3/3 menace. Whenever it attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you can put it onto the battlefield tapped. If you didn't put a card onto the battlefield this way, create a 1/1. Whoa! Okay, that could get out of hand real fast. I like that. Okay, I like it. Queen Elenal of Ruadak. So, heavy mana commitments. But all of these sort of signposts have heavy mana commitments here. The others are just the 2. Okay. Power and toughness each equal to the number of creatures you control. If one or more creature tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus a 1/1 soldier creature token. Okay. All right. It's fine. Again, a little bit. It's okay. It's a good card. It's just we'll see whether it actually works out as well as I would like it to. Zar Ojanen, Scion of Efrava. Okay. 5/4/4. When it becomes tapped, put a +1/+1 kind of each creature have to less than the number of basic land types among lands you control. So if you have like 2 toughness and 3 basic lands, then you get a +1. Yeah, I like this. Okay, this seems good. Seems very good. To play as with the tokens deck seems good. Okay, Aaron Benalia's Ruin, Phyrexian Human, 3/3 for the intense mana cost menace. Black and a white tap, sacrifice another creature, put a +1/+1. Each creature you control. Sure. All right. Yeah, with the tokens deck, that would be really good. Black-white tokens would be really good. I would be happy to run some sort of janky, like, white-based thing that splashed for the black. Yeah, the Abzan would be really fun. Elas Ilkor, Sadistic Pilgrim. Oh. Okay, 2/2 death touch. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield you control, you gain 1 life. Whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Okay, yeah. Seems okay. Balmor, Battle Mage Captain. Whenever you cast an instant... Ooh. Okay, that's not fair. That's not fair at all. Yeah, Aron is very, very good. Balmor is silly. I'm not okay with Balmor. Najal the Stormrunner, 5 mana, 5/4, cast in sorcery spells as though they had flash. Okay, all your sorceries are instants now. Whenever Najal the Stormrunner attacks, you may pay 2. If you do, when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy it. I don't like this. I think they pushed Is it. This is stupid. This is okay. If it doesn't go answered though, that's such a problem. Like, can you imagine Lightning Strike with this card? Even if they get it to do it once, that's just so stupid. And then if this is also in play, that's so gross. Ugh. Anyway. Bortuk Bone Rattle. 6 mana, 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, choose target creature in graveyard. Turn that battle card as card of the battlefield with mana less than or equal to the number of basic land types among them. So if you had 4... Otherwise, put it into your hand. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not as excited about that. This card is making everything look bad. Urg, Spawn of Turg. Urg, Spawn of Turg. Anyway. Alright. That mana cost. Star 5. Equal number of land cards in your graveyard. Picking up, look at the top card of your library, you may put that card in your graveyard. Sacrifice a land, you gain 2 life. No, make it draw a card. Alright, I'm not that impressed with that. Baird, our Gyvian Recruiter. Beginning of your end... Oh, Baird's back. Beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with power greater than its base power. What? Hold on. What? Oh, I see. If anything's augmented. Okay. Create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. At the end step, though. That's fine. It could get out of hand, I guess. But, Tori Devenant, Fury Rider. That artwork is spectacular. 3/3 for 4. Vigilance, Trample. When attacks, all their attacking creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn. Are the red... Alright, that's good. That's good. Find some way to give it haste. Oh, wait, there's Hammer Hand for 5. So you just wait to play this with Hammer Hand and you just like win the game. It's cool. Okay. Nal Avizoa Aeronaut. 4 mana for a 2/4 flyer. When it deals combat damage to a player, look at the top X cards of your library. Up to one of them on top of your library. Again, it's you don't draw. But then if there are 5 basic land types, draw a card. It's okay. Tatyova's back! Alright, land creatures you control are flying. Whenever land enters the battlefield you control, if you control 7 or more lands, up to 1 target land you control becomes a 3/3 with haste. It's still a land. It's fine. Are there other ways to make lands into creatures? Or is it just her? Because if it's just her, it's still good, but it's not great. If there's other ways, then holy hell. It's only after 7. Automatic Librarian. Scry 2. Meh. It's a filler card. It's fine. There's a rare card that does it nice. Hero's Heirloom 2. Legendary Trample and Haste. There's a lot of legendaries, so maybe it's not a terrible thing. I like this one. Inscribed Tablet. It's probably a lower middle pick unless I see a few more legendaries. How many legendaries were there in like the monocolored stuff? Not a lot. Still 2 mana plus 2/+2/1 is fine. Alright, tablet. 1/1. Sacrifice it. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. Put a land card from a hand and rest in the bottom of the. If you didn't put a card into your hand this way, draw a card. So, top 5 cards, find a land. I mean, it kind of let you keep hands that you wouldn't normally have to mulligan, so I think it's okay. Yeah, you can fail to find to cycle it. So you at the expense of being able to find the type of land that you want for domain, you can keep opening hands that you wouldn't normally keep, and at least you can cycle it to draw a card. Joda's Codex. Draw a card, 5 mana. It costs 1 less to activate for each basic land types. I don't know about this one, but I do love the artwork so much. We'll see about this domain stuff. If it's really easy to get to like 5 colors, that's going to change the way I feel about this. Oh, meteorites. This card has been good in slow sets and good in low powered sets, but very bad in others, obviously. Relic of Legends. This is what Coalition Relic became. See, the thing about adding 1 mana of any color is nice for the kickers, but it's not nice for domain. It doesn't help you with domain at all. So we'll see about this one. Salvaged Mana Worker 2 for that. Add 1 mana of each color. Again, this helps with kickers. So I think this card is going to be like a 23rd card a lot of the time. Pack 1, pick 1 Codex, and slam all the common tools. Shield Wall Sentinel. Enters the battlefield. You can search your library for a creature card with Defender. Reveal it. Put it into your hand, then shuffle. Yes, the Defender deck. I think this is actually good because it gets you a second card. I know it's really expensive for a 1/3. But being able to search up exactly which Defender card you want, I think is actually quite useful. So I might run 1 or 2 of those in a Defender deck that I have. Vanquisher's Axe. Worse Bone Splitter. No thanks. It's still okay for enlist, though. If you put it on one creature that you're gonna use on something else, get enlisted, then maybe. But again, enlist doesn't bump the toughness, so it's me. Walking Bulwark. Defender. Until end of turn, target creature with Defender. Yes! Yes! Do this! Oh my gosh, that's gonna be fun. Yay. Apple there's no rare payoffs for Defenders, son of a... Well, now I'm just sad. So here is your duels that are tapped, but they have both land types for your domain, which is cool. And then you have a Crystal Grotto, which can help you splash the colors for kicker. Okay. but not good for domain. Okay, so let's go back to the advanced here, and now let's start looking at the rare and mythic.